Hi guys, how you going? Say hi as you pop in. I'm just gonna wait for a few minutes to give people time to hop on before I start chatting away. Hi Summer, how you going, love? Should see if I can. Why is that not working? I need people to stop mentioning me in comments. That's great, Summer. What are you going to be doing? So, Summer, in case you haven't seen the pinned post there, I'm potentially doing a giveaway today to win a one-on-one 30-minute life purpose chat with me. So it's the same principle as my usual raffle kind of thing. Every share, every tag equals 1 entry. If you want to donate, every donation dollar equals 1 entry. And at least 10 entries is in 10 people to enter for me to draw. So I'm making and selling candles, bath bombs, incense, wax melts, and essential oils. That sounds beautiful. So I'm going to make gift sets for the holidays. Wonderful. So the essential oils, Hannah, are you selling those yourself, or is it like part of another company, like an MLM? We may as well just chat about it while we're here at the start. Oh, my feet is so itchy. My ankle, so itchy. Mm. The essential oils would be from another company in the meantime, but I eventually want to make the oils myself as well. That would be amazing, Summer, but you do know how hard it is to make essential oils, right? You know, like pure and natural ones. It takes like, I think it's like tens of thousands of rose petals to make like one 15 ml bottle of pure rose essential oil. It's probably why it's usually one of the most expensive ones. But I suppose you could just pick and choose which oils you wanted to do. I mean, like most of us have lavender in the garden. Can't speak. Yeah, hun, unless you're doing it on a large scale, as in, oh, I don't mean large scale as in like a massive company, but unless you have got a lot of funds to back you in that regard, it can get really, really costly to make your own essential oils. Buying in bulk is probably a good idea, yeah. God, why is my ankle so itchy? It's driving me mental. Okay, so anyway, let's get to chatting about life purpose and some questions that you can ask to find yours. All right, so I often get asked how does someone know what their life purpose is? And you know, obviously the blaringly obvious thing is that not everybody really not everybody knows their life purpose from a really young age. Summer, I've seen individual bottles go for $15, but in bulk they get down pretty cheap. Yeah, hun, if the only factor that you're looking for is cheap, you're gonna have to do a lot of fucking research, love. If you don't know very much about essential oils specifically, they are like I said, pure and natural essential oils take a lot to make. Particularly if you want to do it sustainably and if you want to get the specific plants from areas in which they naturally grow. So it can get really expensive, and the methods by which you obtain essential oils from the plant can get super expensive. So whenever they're really cheap, I actually like to research into it and ask myself why. Why is this so cheap? Has it got preservatives? Has it got added fillers in there? Has it got added chemicals in there? Because if you're selling them, hun, you're going to want to know that stuff. You are going to want to know that stuff. Anyway, what was I talking about? Life purpose. I've lost my train of thought now because I ran with yours, Summer. So I think I'm going to try and stick to what I'm talking about. Oh, what did I do there? That's right. So not everybody knows what they want to do from a young age. Okay, but it can be really helpful to pay attention to those things that you wanted to do when you were little. And I think it's really important to remember that not everybody wants not everybody knows what their life purpose is going to be. Some people will, some people won't. For example, I'll share a story, me specifically, and what I wanted to say was don't let yourself feel bad if you don't know what it is, and it seems like everybody around you knows. The one story that I want to share with you in regards to me is, I've had so many different jobs, only because, I was someone that just tried things out, trial and error. I went to things that interested me and to see how they went. I've worked in, what have I worked in? I've worked in hospitality. I've worked in retail, both in-store and in head office as a buyer. I've managed a flight planning program for pilots. So I have flown a plane, like a little plane, like a little Cessna. What else have I done? I've worked in fitness. I'm obviously, working in spirituality at the moment, and still doing a little bit in fitness. Not with the lockdown though. So I've done a lot, and I've tried out a lot. And the good thing about that is, and the good thing about trial and error in general is, whilst you may still feel like you're working out what your life purpose is. At least you can figure out what it's not. Okay? Because the ultimate thing about life purpose is that it's meant to make you happy. It's meant to make you feel fulfilled. Are you going to feel happy every 5 seconds? No, of course not. But overall, it should give you some sense of satisfaction and some sense of fulfillment. All right. And, I hear so many people, particularly because I do work in a spiritual field, I hear so many people say, well, I'm meant to do something in regards to spirituality. Okay, well, do you enjoy it? And they're kind of like, well, no, I don't really meditate, or I don't do this, I don't do that. Well, if it's not something that you enjoy, if it's not something that you're prepared to do every single day, and if it's not something that you want to get out of bed for, then is it really your purpose? Or is it just something that someone's told you, or is it just something that, you feel you have to do? Because I've been down that path before as well. I actually did that when it came to choosing my uni courses, which I didn't finish any of, by the way. I chose my uni courses based on what I thought my parents would want, and what would make them proud. And at the end of the day, I think, when it comes to most parents, yes, they, they want their child to become a doctor or a lawyer or those kinds of things, or, president, prime minister, wherever you are. But at the end of the day, I think what is ultimately really important to them is that their child is happy, that their child is fulfilled. And, your parents don't necessarily want you to go to work and be unhappy every single day. So it's really important that you tune into you and what it is that you like. Summer, not just cheap, lol. I've been doing research on the brands and what's in them and looking at reviews. I just mean buying in bulk. It's cheaper than individual. Sorry to interrupt. Buying in bulk is always cheaper. That's across the board with everything. See if you can, I'd look into wholesale as opposed to bulk if you can, because that will be cheaper than buying in bulk. If you can buy wholesale in bulk, that will probably be even cheaper than that. Some of you shared the post, hun. Should I put your name down on my draw list? So, one thing I will say as well in regards to life purpose is that, people think that life purpose is limited to just one thing. All right. However, consider how limiting that is as well. Perhaps you have more than one life purpose that, oh, thank you, Summer. Yep, I'll add your name to my list. I'll do that now before I forget. Okay. You may have more than one life purpose. Okay, it's not limited to one thing. You may find that there are several things that you really enjoy and that you could really see yourself doing for a long period of time, and then it's just a matter of choosing between those things. Maybe one of them you like a little bit more, maybe one of them you like a lot, but it's just something novelty for you. For example, when I was younger, I used to absolutely love makeup. I used to do my own makeup like every single day, but not just for the day. I would practice different things. I'd play around, colors, glitter, all that kind of stuff. so much so that then I went and studied it as well. So I am actually a qualified makeup artist. But as soon as I got that qualification and I actually got offered a job at MAC Cosmetics, I sort of realized this is novelty for me. This is something that I enjoy for me, doing, in spare time. If I was to turn around and do this as a career, would I enjoy it? And the answer to that was no. I would get sick of it because, I had to think about, like, as much as I enjoy doing makeup for myself on my own face, and I did enjoy doing it on friends and stuff, sometimes I couldn't be bothered. Like, sometimes I was like, oh, no, I don't want to. And taking that up a notch and thinking of it on a bigger scale in regards to, career and work and that kind of stuff, realistically, I couldn't do that in a job. Like, I couldn't just be like, oh my God, no, I can't be fucked. I'm not going to do this. You know what I mean? So I quickly realized that for me was novelty as opposed to, fulfilling a life purpose. When it comes to spirituality, my story in regards to that is a little different. So, it was recovery from my suicide attempt and everything. And then I've told this story so many times, and poor Summer, you've probably heard this so many times. During my recovery there, when I started going and doing other alternative methods as opposed to, regular Western treatment, I would go to spiritual healers, spiritual counselors, gurus, all that kind of stuff. And every single one of them told me I was meant to be a healer. Now, at that time, I was kind of like, well, no, you've got the wrong person. Anyway, obviously, they were onto something there. They were right there. I just couldn't see it at the time. Yeah. But just because someone told me that this was what I was meant to do, didn't necessarily mean that I had to take that on board. Yes, they did turn out to be right, and it's what I'm doing now. But, one thing that I don't regret and that I am proud of is that I figured that out for myself. I gave myself time to go through my journey, to go through that healing, to experience things for myself, and then make that decision. Because unless it comes from within you, right, and unless you know that that is what fulfills you and what makes you happy, then it's really likely that you might get into something and then go, well, actually, I don't enjoy this. And whilst that is good that you tried something, that, you got out of your comfort zone and you did something, overall, is it good that you listened to external instead of paying attention to internal? Right? All right. So let's go through, I've got some questions here that you can go through to, sort of reflect on your life purpose. If life purpose isn't necessarily something that you figured out now, then asking these questions can help to perhaps allow you to find that, or allow you to at least start that journey, right, of finding your life purpose. I want to make it clear that sometimes life purpose is trial and error. Okay? Sometimes we don't always know what it is. And sometimes, like I said before, just because, you know, someone tells you that you are meant to be something, or you get like a fleeting thought that, you know, oh, well, I could do this, doesn't actually mean that that is your life purpose. All right. So I highly recommend that you don't limit yourself in going, oh, well, this is my life purpose, without actually having tried anything to do with it, or without actually making that part or integrating that into your life beforehand. So I think everyone's used to you going on later. It could be because of all this election stuff. Yeah, maybe. It's cool. No worries. If they miss me, they miss me. Not much I can do about it. I need to go on at this time because I've got other shit to do. Hi, Jennifer. How you going, love? All right. So the first question that you can ask yourself in regards to life purpose is, you know, what makes you comfortable, or sorry, no, what makes you uncomfortable that you are prepared to do anyway, that you like doing anyway? You know, what, I suppose this is figuring out what you're willing to sacrifice for. All right. Now, I know that question can seem a little bit confusing, as in, why would my life purpose make me uncomfortable? Don't think of the word uncomfortable quite so literally when I ask this question, right? So think about something that you love to do, that you absolutely adore doing, right? And ask yourself, what am I prepared to sacrifice for this? What uncomfortable situations am I prepared to get myself into because of this? For example, so I'll use your example, Summer, in regards to starting a new business about with essential oils and what was it? Candles, bath bombs, that kind of stuff. All right. If you have social anxiety, okay, and you don't necessarily like to be around crowds or, you know, talk to people face to face, and I'm not necessarily saying that this is Summer, I'm just using it as an example. All right. If you knew that, like, making those bath bombs and candles and the essential oils and stuff, if you knew you could sell those at a market, but you would end up likely with a big crowd around you and having to speak to everyone, even with your social anxiety, or, you know, the fear of crowds or whatever it might be, or timidness, would you still be prepared to do that? If so, that is definitely something to consider, because you're willing to sacrifice something for it. You're willing to sacrifice your comfort for it, right? Summer, I'm glad to be aware that I have a life purpose versus not believing I do. Aw, of course, hun. And I'm so glad that you feel that way as well, right? We all have purpose, each and every single one of us. And a lot of us have a whole bunch of different purposes, right? So being a mom is a purpose. Yeah, being Chica's mum is one of my purposes. Whatever work you may choose to do, if it's something that you love, you know, that's also a purpose. Okay, you know, life purpose doesn't have to be, like I said earlier, limited, although I was making a different point back then. It doesn't have to be limited to one thing, such as career or work. Okay, life purpose comes in many different forms. So what are you willing to sacrifice to do that? You know, if you're someone that, you know, really needs their sleep, but you find yourself not sleeping because you're enjoying doing whatever activity it is, you know, that's also something to think about, because you're willing to sacrifice your sleep and your rest for it. I wouldn't recommend doing that every single day. Okay, but I don't know anyone in business that hasn't had at least one night of lack of sleep because they've been looking after their business, especially at the start. Summer, yeah, I'd have to overcome anxiety, but I've been getting a lot better. I meditated for hours the other night, and the next morning I was super energized and started writing out a business plan. Beautiful. That's great. Another question. Okay. What's true about you today that would make your inner child cry? Again, another question. He's like, what? I don't get it. Why would my inner child cry? So let me explain. Think about something that you loved to do as a child, but you no longer do now. For whatever reason, you've stopped, but you love to do this as a child. Your inner child might hear that and then, or know that and cry because it's something that they love to do. What is that? And why did you stop? Was it simply because adult life started taking over and, stress, responsibilities, all that kind of stuff? And is it something that you would still enjoy? If you used to love, as a kid, if you used to love trains as a kid, right? And everything to do with trains, but then all of a sudden you just stopped. Is it that you no longer are interested in trains? Because yes, our interest can change over time, don't get me wrong. Or is it that you just allowed there to be massive separation between adulthood and childhood and the things that you like? Just because you're an adult now doesn't mean that you can't still like the same things as you did when you were a child. Won't be everything, but it is one good question that can help lead you in the right direction. And another question, what is something that makes you forget to eat or go to the bathroom? Think of something, that you have enjoyed so much, or that you've just gotten so deep into doing and spending time on that, you forget to look at the clock. 1 second the sun's up, the next second the sun's down. Yeah, you were preoccupied with that. And it's not necessarily all that often that we allow ourselves to get that preoccupied with something unless it's something that we enjoy. Yes, there will be moments when, we get lost in things like that, but we don't necessarily enjoy doing them. We're just doing them because there's a need to do it. All right, so try to think of a specific time when you've been really enjoying something and then you look at the clock and go, oh my God, 5 hours has gone past and I didn't realize. That happens to me all the time. Yeah, I'll be writing out, like a post, or I'll be writing out things for a client, and then all of a sudden, I was only meant to be doing that for like an hour and then making dinner or whatever, and then all of a sudden 3 hours has passed and I'm like, wow, I really just smashed that out, Thank you, Jennifer. I will pop your name down on my list. Okay, I don't know if I'll get to do this draw today, guys, because there needs to be at least 10 people to enter the draw before I actually draw it, or enter the giveaway before I actually draw it. But that's okay. Summer's written that's a tough one. I'm not sure which question that was in regards to, Summer, because I've just been talking away over here. Summer, I do that when I'm cleaning or if I'm doing something I really enjoy and I'm excited about it. Yep, that's exactly what I said, hun. Right? That will always more than often happen if you really do enjoy something. And in regards to cleaning, you know, what you would need to ask yourself in that situation is it that I really enjoy cleaning, or that I'm just so focused on it because it needs to get done? I don't actually enjoy it. That's me, right? That's me. Cleaning, I'll think, oh yeah, this will take me half an hour. And then, you know, 2.5 hours later, I'll be like, wow, that took a little bit longer than I thought it would. And I feel good after it's done, but I'm not necessarily enjoying it. It just needs to be done. Some of the inner child one is a tough one. Is it? Is it a tough one? Or is it just that, you know, your adult self doesn't want to reconcile that? Jennifer, when I hit my late 30s, I began to finally return to the things I liked. Single mom, college student, work, but my kids helped show me the way. Spending time with them, playing, creating, thankful to them. That's great. Summer, I enjoy the thought of the outcome. Yeah, when it comes to cleaning, yeah. So I used to love playing outdoors. That's a really good one, you know, to think about, because then is it possible that part of your purpose is to do something that's outdoors? What was it that you like to do outdoors as well? You know, because that could give you a little hint in towards it as well. Jennifer, I was doing all that adulting and needed the space. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that, hon. I'm not sure what you mean. I'm sorry. All right, another question that I've got here is, if you knew that you were going to die in a few days, what would you do and how would you want to be remembered? Right. So for me, if I found out that I was going to die in a few days' time, and you know, we're not talking about all the obvious things like spend time with your family and loved ones and all that kind of stuff, right? If we're thinking about, if you're thinking about life purpose in regards to career and work, let's keep it in that box, okay? Because then it gets very complicated in regards to this question, because we all know that if in a couple of days' time we were going to die, you'd want to spend time with like friends, family, loved ones, pets, whatever. That's a given, right? But look at it from the point of view of career and work. What would you do and how would you want to be remembered? What I'd do is I'd want to find something really impactful that I could leave behind to help others. And then that also fulfills the part of the question, which was, how would you want to be remembered? Because I'd want to be remembered like that too, you know, as in, wow, you know, before Christine died, she gave us whatever it is that I give, and it was so impactful to our healing, our evolution, our moving forward, our understanding ourselves. You know what I mean? Summer, yeah, since I've become a mum, I do a lot of things that I did as a kid now. Yeah, absolutely. And Jennifer, hanging with kids helps adults tap into their inner child. Yeah, absolutely. Whether or not they know it, you know, it's happening anyway. Only because you tend to act like the kid. You know, they get you to play like have a little tea party with them. Adults really don't tend to do that. But it's in those moments when you're taken out of ego and you're fulfilling the child's needs instead. Right? So, you know, I think this can be a really good question, the one that we're talking about at the moment, to ask, right? And not necessarily just in regards to work and career, however that is what we're talking about. If you knew you were going to die, what would you do? And how would you want to be remembered? You know, do you want to be remembered as the person that complains about everything? As the person who felt that they were unable to change their circumstances? You know? Do you want to be seen as independent? And if these are the ways that you do or don't want to be seen, it's totally fine either way. Right, and another question that you can ask yourself, which I touched on before, is, you know, how can you get out of your comfort zone? What can you do to get yourself out of that comfort zone, trial and error wise? Summer, I'd want to be remembered as someone who was kind and loving. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. But how do you then apply that to work and career, right? If that's what we're focused on talking about today, life purpose in regards to work and career, how would you apply being kind and loving to that? Because being kind and loving is really somewhat generalized. Ego, yep. Now I tune into source regularly. Value is key. Sorry, Jennifer, I'm just trying to figure out what that is in regards to, in relation to that I've said. So yeah, trial and error, like I said before. Give something a shot, right? If you think, oh, well, this seems interesting, just give it a shot. The worst that could happen is that you figure out that you don't like it and then you move on to something else. Okay, and that's that. Remember, like, these are just sort of guidelines as opposed to. Jennifer, I was agreeing to what you said about ego. I don't remember what I said about ego. No, I don't remember what I said about ego. Sorry. So yeah, trial and error. Give something a shot. Worst that could happen is you figure out you don't like it. Like I said, you know, earlier, I have tried so many things. I've done so many different things. And every time I realized it wasn't something that, you know, I wanted to do long term. I even used to be a dance teacher and that kind of stuff. You know, I've had a very varied background. Another question that you can ask is, how are you going to save the world? Now, I know this one sounds super dramatic. Okay, so reel it back a little bit. Don't think about it being too dramatic in that sense. What I'm saying is, find a problem that you care about and try to solve it. For example, you know, my work in spirituality and doing what I do all basically stems from my own feelings, my own hurts, my own suicide attempt, all those things, because I care about them. And this is something that I want to try to help solve. Now, it's gone, you know, as I've upgraded and evolved, it's gone beyond that. So less of, you know, healing those really deep, dark moments. Yes, I still do that. But it's also gone beyond that into evolving and expanding and becoming the person that, you know, people want to be. So that is the problem that I found that I am working to help solve in the collective. Jennifer, I found volunteering a good way to try things. Plus, I made great new friends. Yeah, but volunteering doesn't necessarily always help you to find your own life purpose. That's doing charitable work. Because obviously it's volunteering. You can't make any money out of volunteering. You know what I mean? You can't depend on volunteering for your income for life. And more often than not, the things that you're volunteering for generally tend to be non-profit. And yes, they do, that might be some people's life purpose. They may want to go in those directions. But if we're thinking of it on a larger scale, volunteering may not necessarily be the best way to find your own life purpose. It adds to that. Yeah, because it is something charitable. It's something that you're doing for others. But that also does not necessarily, I'm not ruling out at all that I'm not ruling it out as a method to find your own life purpose. But for most people, it probably is not an ideal route to go down for that. It has its benefits, absolutely. Summer, I want to heal myself and then guide others in their healing. Yep. And the first part of your sentence there is key, is I want to heal myself. When I started doing this, I was well into my recovery journey. And I had done so much. I'd tried so much. I made daily habits and everything. So I think it's really important, particularly because you're dealing with others and dealing with others' emotions. And this isn't limited to you, Summer. This is everyone. That if that's something that you want to do, then it's something that you need to be prepared to do with yourself. So I love that you put that there first, Summer. I think it's wonderful. Jennifer, I think I found something I like. Then I try it by volunteering. When it panned out, then I spent. Yeah, okay, cool. Cool. Okay, and the final question that I've got for you today, guys, in regards to finding your life purpose. Jennifer, daily, regularly, my comment above equals value. I'm sorry, Hannah. Again, I don't understand what you mean. I don't understand what you're saying. I'll wait for you to comment again. So if you had to leave the house all day, every day, someone's got a gun to your head to do so, where would you go? What would you do? Daily routine. Jen Hun, there's a little bit of a lag, so I'm getting your comments clearly well after I've said something, and you guys know me, my memory is not that great, so I don't automatically remember what I've said. So if you could make your comments just a little tiny bit clearer for me in what they're regarding, it would help me. Summer, repeat the question, please. Okay, if you had to leave the house all day, every day, what would you do? Where would you go? All right, you got no choice in this. You have to leave the house. Someone's got a gun to your head, and you've got to go do it. What would you do? Where would you go? the creek. So you'd go there all day, every day. What would you do there? Oh, no worries, Jennifer. That I understood. Summer. Yeah. Yeah. So can you see, like, with these questions, it's really easy. It can be really easy to just come up with a really quick answer, right? For example, like, if I had to leave the house all day, every day, where would you go? What would you do? My first answer would probably be go to the beach. But that's got absolutely zero thought in it. Like, what would I do at the beach all day, every day? And this includes winter days as well. Do I want to be at the beach when it's, negative, or not negative, but like, 2 degrees Celsius? I probably wouldn't mind it, but I wouldn't want to be there all day, you know? So that kind of rules going to the beach out for me as a life purpose career. It's just something that I love. Jennifer, beach, nature walks, discovering, communing, picking up offerings to create with. I don't know what you mean by offerings. Draw, share. This came to my mind when you. This came to my mind first when you said the question. Jennifer, for me, the all day is art, writing, creating. Okay, so um, is art part of your career? If it's something that you are willing to do all day, every day, doesn't it stand to reason that that is probably something that you could do as a career? And sorry, I didn't mean to make that sound like I was only directing that to you, Jennifer. Like, that's to everyone. If you know something that you would be willing to do all day, every day, no matter what, rain, hail, or shine, doesn't it stand to reason that that or something along those lines is going to be a possibility of a life purpose for you? So, Summer, going back to your answer of the creek, is the creek somewhere that you would want to be all day, every day, even when it's raining or hailing or thunderstorming? Hi, Thomas. How you going? Coming in on the back end. I'm not going to stay on very long. Jennifer, yes, I just federally registered my brand. Took over 2 years. Goodness, I have no idea what the you know, the US process or system is like. Why on earth did it take you 2 years to register a business or a company? Seems excessive to me. Someone, no, lol, I don't know where I'd want to go. Yeah, and it's, you know, and that's okay too. If you don't know, if you can't think of something straight off the top of your head, that's okay as well. Sometimes it takes a little while to think about it, or maybe you haven't found that yet. You know? But some, you know, like, wait, let me scroll back up. Oh, I don't think I can scroll that far. But in regards to what you said you wanted to do before, like, you know, making the candles, bath bombs, essential oils, all that kind of stuff. Why did you not want, or why did that not come up for you? Why do you think that didn't come up for you? Like, why do you think you didn't say, oh, well, I'd spend all day at like a bath bomb factory or something? You know, and that's not to say that it's not your purpose, but it is something good to reflect on. Oh, it's the I'm like, what is this ringing? I thought it was a phone. Yeah, and I'm like, hang on, I don't have anything that rings like that. And then I realized it was the TV. Um, so you know, even this question, this last question is difficult for me. Like if I had a gun to my head and I had to leave the house all day every day, that's a hard one because most of the work that I do is from home. However, when I start to think about it now, I'm kind of like, okay, well, I'd want to go to like some cool spiritual retreat and spend all day every day there, you know, where they've got beautiful gardens and, you know, outdoor crystal grids and where the energy feels nice. There's lots of nature and stuff. I would spend my time there all day, every day, guaranteed. And I'd probably bring Chica with me. Summer, I enjoy the creative side of getting to do it. Lol. I'd love to go to a spiritual place all day, every day. Jennifer, well, that's a good one. I lived in an open air retreat sanctuary for 3 months this year. It was awesome. Sounds wonderful. Okay, guys, don't just say that you would love to go to a spiritual place because I've said it. Right? Yes, it would be amazing to go there, right? But would you want to spend every single day there? Would you what would you want to do there? Summer, I know that you would have things that you would want to do there as well. So that wasn't directed at you. But yeah, so sorry, I'm just feeling into the comments here. Um, where you've said, I enjoy the creative side of getting to do it. Is it only the creativity that you enjoy? Do you think that you could do that 24/7? Not 24/7 because you obviously need to sleep. Um, you know, but remember when it comes to business as well, there's obviously other aspects of it that aren't always so enjoyable for everyone, including myself, like admin. Thomas, I always have to read your answers several times. Except I'd bring the outdoors inside, but then include a spiritual outdoor section to the place too. What do you mean bring the outdoors inside? Do you just mean have plants inside? Summer, yes, I want to learn and meditate and do things to help heal myself. Lovely. So they were generally all the questions that I had for you today, guys, in regards to helpful questions that might help you find your life purpose. I will give you a little bit of a rundown of all of them. Just for Thomas, since he was here late. Summer, I've always enjoyed doing creative things since I was a kid. Yep, but you know, if you're asking yourself these questions in regards to trying to find your life purpose, your career, your work, then you need to structure them in that way. It's easy to go, yep, I enjoyed doing creative things since I was a kid, but how are you going to apply that to your work or your career? What are you going to take from that knowledge that you enjoy doing creative things since you were a kid to apply to your adult life in finding what you want to do as a career, as work? Yeah, I mean, all these questions could be asked without that intention, but if you are asking them with that intention, then you need to look at them through that lens. Does that make sense? Thomas, a large facility with an atrium with a waterfall and plants in the inside and small businesses in the perimeter would be a place of holistic and spiritual healing. The facility could be multi-purpose too. Beautiful. All right, so let me go through these questions again in case you missed them. Get a pen and paper if you need to. Let me give you a sec to do that. All right. So the questions to ask, and remember what I was just saying about these questions could really apply to anything in general. All right. So when you ask them, have a goal in mind of the answer. As in, if you're asking these just for fun, then that's your answer. Yeah. Excuse me. That'll be the way that your answers are framed. If you want to ask these questions of yourself to figure out your life purpose, then you need to frame them in that way. All right. So, as an example, what's true about you today that you stopped that would make your inner child cry? I'll repeat that question again in a sec when I'm doing the rundown, but I'm just giving you guys an example at the moment. All right. You could say for that, well, you know, I used to eat ice cream before I went to bed every single day. But how then, if you're asking in regards to life purpose and work and career and that kind of stuff, how then are you going to apply that answer to that topic? Or did you get a little bit off track? You know what I mean? So have that in mind when you're asking yourself these questions. And I'm just reiterating that because if you guys write these down and you go back to ask them, right, you want to remember why you're asking them. All right. So questions. What makes you uncomfortable that you do anyway? What would you sacrifice? Sorry, what are you willing to sacrifice for? What's true about you today that would make your inner child cry? And remember, that question is generally asking you, what did you do as a child that you no longer do now, that you loved doing as a child? Okay, so, I'm not talking about breaking toys and that kind of stuff. Next question. What makes you forget to eat or go to the bathroom? What do you get so enthralled in doing that you forget the basics? If you're someone that usually goes to bed at like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, won't be any of you because you're on my live, but if you are someone that goes to bed at like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night every single night, and then one night or for a whole week or a whole month or whatever, you're staying up super late until after midnight because you're doing something that you enjoy, what is that? And again, remember that, the answers to these questions may not definitively pinpoint your life purpose. They can help you to find it though. All right, if you knew you were going to die in a few years, sorry, not in a few years, in a few days, what would you do and how would you want to be remembered? And again, make sure that you keep it on track with what it is you're trying to find. Yeah, life purpose, career, work. Because that could be anything. Like I could just say, well, I want to hang out with Chica for the next 2 days. That's all I want to do. I just want to play with Chica. That doesn't necessarily help me find my life purpose because it's very specific. Unless, of course, you then took that as being, well, I want to work with dogs. I want to be a dog walker. You know what I mean? How can you get yourself out of your comfort zone? Right? Trial and error. Trial and error is a really underestimated part of life, I think. Trial and error is not a bad thing. Don't think of it as a bad thing. How are you going to save the world? Right? Find a problem that you care about and work to solve it. If you had a gun to your head and were told that you had to leave your house all day, every day, what would you want to do and where would you go? That gun is only to your head until you leave the house. The rest is up to you. That was my final question for those. Jennifer, this time help me focus in on several facets. Great questions. I find re-asking the questions along the journey very helpful in honing in. Can you also please write in your group and website so folks can find your offerings? No, hun. No. If they want them, they get them how I give it to them, which is on this live right now. Yep. And remember also that I'm reeling back on the amount of freebies that I'm doing and giving. So if people want these questions, they can come and watch this live. It's a public live, so anyone can watch it. Anyone can be tagged in it. But I don't necessarily think that it's necessary for me to then go and write a post, put it here, put it there, put it there. You know what I mean? It's in the one place now. If someone wants to find it here, they can find it here. And if they're drawn to it, then it was meant for them. Alrighty, so I hope that it has helped you guys to perhaps figure out what it is that you want to do. And remember, just because you choose something now, okay, I want to end it on this. Just because you choose something now does not mean that, you know, maybe in 20 or 30 years' time, you might go, well, maybe I want to do something else. And that's okay. You do not have to be stuck in something just because at one point in time you feel like you're meant to be doing something or that was your life purpose. It can change. Jennifer, no, you misunderstand. I mean, share your info, classes, workshops. Hun, where are you? Where are you wanting me to share these things? I share them on my profile, on this page, in my group, on my website, in my subscriptions. I'm not really sure where else you want me to share these things, hun. Oh, my pleasure, Summer. My pleasure, love. I hope it's helped you a little bit. Although, you know, you got your own business stuff going on. Jennifer, I meant links here because I shared this in a group. Yep, they're all in the caption. They're all in the caption, Jennifer. Plus, since this is being done off my public page, they can actually come to the page and see the website, the link to the website. They can also scroll down the page and see all the offerings. Thomas, we always have a choice and we are meant to grow, and with that we change our passions. Yes, we can certainly do so. Yeah. Anyway, guys, I need to go and prepare for a client. So thank you so much to those of you that joined me live today. Thank you to anybody watching this on replay. I super appreciate each and every one of you. As Jennifer was pointing out, as Jennifer and I were discussing, I should say, you'll find links to places like my soul community, my Facebook group in the caption. You'll be able to access those if you're on a mobile device once the live is over. Come join my group today. I did it today instead of yesterday because I've been focusing on issues with my foot and I totally forgot to do it yesterday. But today we posted up Chika's intuition training post in the group. So get in there. And then this month also, I've got a Connect to Your Higher Consciousness free group event. So join the group. It's exclusive to that if you would like. And do check out my new subscription options. You can find those on my website. They are very accessible. So the lowest tier there starts at only $5.55 per month. So go check those out, guys, especially if you've been wanting to do or wanting access to me, but haven't felt like you've been able to afford it. So check those out. And yeah, make sure to like the page, turn your notifications on so that you get a notification when I go live. And I will see you guys next time. Enjoy the rest of your day or night wherever you are. Bye for now, guys. Mwah. You have a great night, Summer.